average closing time? And I think Jim has been asked about single family homes in the past. So what's the average closing time, escrow closing time for a single family home on Oahu?
Yeah, I mean, I've closed cash as fast as 12 days, but general cash is 25 to 35 days. With financing, you're 30 to max 60, but 45 is the average.
45. Okay, so 45 days plus or minus if you've got cash or financing. Dylan, are the numbers on the Big On for closing times any different?
Pretty much exactly the same. But the thing that I'm telling people, and I'm actually going to do a video about this today and put it out probably next week, is managing expectations of buyers and sellers. Because right now, with this huge increase in the number of properties being sold, right, whether it be single family homes or land, this huge spike in the number of units, our industry doesn't change or doesn't increase with the same amount of manpower, right? So when it comes to a closing, buyers and sellers have things that they got to do, but then there's a ton of other people involved, right? The escrow and title companies, there's the lender involved if the buyer's getting a loan, there's a home inspector, there's a termite inspector, there's surveyors if you're going to do a survey or staking. There's appraisers that have to do an appraisal. So there's all of these third-party functions that go into getting a transaction closed. And if one of them is backed up or delayed, which we're seeing one in many of them right now getting backed up, closings are taking longer because especially appraisers, they're way back. And there's only a set number of appraisers in town. And when the volume of deals goes up 50, 60%, the number of appraisers doesn't follow that up at the same time. So the title companies are super busy. The attorneys who draft the deeds are super busy. So everybody is, I'm just letting everybody know, don't expect to close on time right now. If we do, great. That's a bonus. But right now we're definitely seeing, 1 to 2 week delays in every single contract.
That's an important part. The industry doesn't scale. There's a lot of human interaction, so it doesn't scale well.
There's plenty of extra realtors out there, but there isn't a lot of extra other folks that do.
We have an oversupply of realtors, but an undersupply of all the service providers in the industry. Heidi, what's the average closing time? Back to kind of, let's apply Jim's question to Maui. What's the average closing time, escrow closing time in Maui? Is it about the same or is it different?
Well, I mean, it's a part of the contract that's negotiable, so it's really up to the buyer, but it's also up to the lender's ability to close. I mean, we're seeing banks just have been flooded with a demand for refinances and loans. So for a condominium, I mean, you're looking at typically at least 60 days to close. For a cash offer, I'd usually recommend a 21 to 30 day close. That gives you time to do your inspections, do your due diligence, and close in a pretty timely fashion. And then for a more conventional financing on a single family home, you can close in 45 days. Now, if the property is tenant occupied and the tenants need to be given 45 days notice, I mean, you're kind of looking at 60 days at the fastest too. So I would say most transactions I've been working on lately are at least about 60 days.
Excellent. Thanks, Heidi. And yeah, Jim, you are welcome. Jim is thanking you, Scott, which is great. Welcome, Jim.
And that's an interesting point, right? With this discussion of the market being hot right now, the closings that happened in October went into escrow the month or two prior, right? So we're talking about August and September contracts that closed in October. So that was in the height of the shut. I mean, we were still shut down, right? There was nobody here. I mean, so that's the crazy thing about the October closings is they happened a while back. It wasn't like they started in October and people, with the people that arrived. So what is December going to look like, right? And January going to look like now that we have people returning? It's going to, I mean, I think it's going to get even crazier. So
it's like that analogy of the snake trying to eat an elephant, right? It's kind of makes its way through. And you're going to have there's a big, huge ball of busyness that's coming through. It's a great point.
Yeah, part of what the good realtors,
the good ones, like the ones at this table, the good ones.
Yeah, exactly. No, but that is part of the challenge right now. Is I'm running into people who aren't adapting really well to what's going on in the marketplace. So, I mean, I have an ag lot that I brought on, and I knew we were going to have some difficulties. 3 acres doing the survey, and the surveyor wasn't even available for 30 days. Well, 2 weeks before we were even going on the market, I was already in touch with that surveyor, working with him, because it was going to be a multiple step process, getting all those dates lined up, so I'm not dragged 3 months out trying to do this survey. The good agents are going to be more proactive now, so that we don't have as many bumps and hoops that we got to jump through once we get into escrow. You already know you're probably going into escrow when you get on the market, so get prepared up front. There's a lot of agents that don't do that, and then that process drags out because of their inability to be proactive up front.
Hey, Scott.